So when I reflect on documentation and crucial conversations required of an administrator, what sticks out to me is that effective documentation is not about building a case against a teacher, but about supporting and building an avenue for professional growth for that teacher, which is going to result in student success. Going through the Texas Documentation Handbook throughout our assignments, it provided a sequential framework of events that communicates deficiencies, but then also shows that the administrator is determined and making efforts to support that teacher improvement. And I think that that relates to the reading of the Termination Without Tears document, because that also emphasized the importance of incremental supervision and continuous feedback in order to achieve a win-win outcome through these discussions. As an educator, I've always had the mindset that if you're going to communicate a problem to a parent or co-teacher or administrator, to be ready to pair it with a possible solution. And as administrators, I feel that we must show teachers that we're not just identifying problems, but that we are actively working with them to help solve them. My takeaway from analyzing the different types of effective documentation and my belief on that is that, of course, that must include frequent, specific, and honest conversations. And I like or have the belief that, it does have to gradually change over time. So the initial focus of the discussion would be on the improvement and the support. But then, of course, if issues continue, then the urgency must increase. I think that the gradual climb is important, from that initial discussion to urgency, because it ensures that the educator, the teachers clearly understand their expectations for growth, the seriousness of the situation at hand, and the potential consequences if improvement isn't the outcome. Another point that I held on to is that documentation must reflect good faith efforts, and that in addition, effective administrators really have to balance that honesty and empathy when communicating with educators or having these difficult conversations. I liked that the reading said or hit on that difficult conversations should not be confrontation, but rather be clarity. And that if it's done correctly, that even, difficult outcomes or whenever it didn't end up the way that employee expected it to, that they are more likely to accept those difficult outcomes when the process was fair, transparent, and due to clear, specific evidence. So in conclusion, I really just believe that every educator should be given a genuine opportunity to improve, while also protecting our campus and our school, and that strong documentation encompasses support, accountability, and responsible leadership.